I predict a sellout here.
Yeah, so this will sell out, almost assuredly. I was telling you about the 2016s. Well, in Mint State 70, they're virtually impossible to get. Okay, they're virtually impossible to get. $1,000, we just sold them. I've got some sets in Mint State 69. Not for, okay, not for $1,000.
Exactly.
For $199. Now, here is the problem. These are my final quantities of the Mint State 69s. I have 254 sets, folks. I had a couple thousand of these sets. We're down to the last bit of these. 3 of these have already sold. So remember, these are the same. Yeah. Let me go back. The United States government has secretly been making American Silver Eagles at Philadelphia and San Francisco since 2015. We just found that out through a Freedom of Information Request Act. Prior to this, the rarest American Mint State Silver Eagle was 1996, okay? It was 1996. And in the 1996 American Silver Eagle in Mint State 69, we sell for about $199 to $299.
For a single?
The single one. Mm-hmm. I now have a San Francisco Mint and a Philadelphia minted coin, both of which that are significantly rarer than the 1996. As a matter of fact, now the 5 secret Silver Eagles made by the United States government are the 5 rarest Silver Eagles ever made by the United States government, and this set contains 2 of them.
Oh my goodness.
And I can functionally tell you that these, for the price, are the rarest, they're the best deal right here, right now. I mean, it's just unmatchable for me. Because once again, the United States government, they come in these boxes of 500 coins, folks. They come in these boxes of 500 coins, and they're serial numbered and they have a strap on them. And if that is not opened up at the grading company, and again, the United States government provided this, because there's additional identifying information inside the box, then those coins are lost forever. So these San Francisco mints, particularly from 2016, the Philadelphia Mint and the San Francisco Mint there, well, they made like 1.1 million and 2 million of these coins, still 2 of the 5 rarest Silver Eagles ever done by the United States government, the 2nd rarest and the 4th rarest. I believe that they are actually significantly rarer than that, at least I would say 10 times rarer than that. I would say that they're at least 10 times rarer than that, folks. And because they were opened up, and once that box is opened up, if it's not done at the grading company, they're lost forever. So if you go out there and look at these and try to find these coins, particularly the 2016s, you simply won't find them. Now, here's the key, and here's why this is sold so well, and why I believe I'm going to sell every single solitary one of these, okay? I'm going to give you like 3, maybe 4 minutes.
We've only got
235. I'm going to sell every single one of them right here, and here's why. Look at the price. We're basically $65 a coin. I sell the regular West Point minted Silver Eagle in Mint State 69 for $69.95, okay? This coin, which they're gonna make 40 or 50 million of, whatever it is. I mean, I sell this coin for $69.95 all day long, as many as I get. I am selling you these 2 coins, not at $199 a piece, which if they were 1996s, I would. I'm selling those to you as well for $65 a coin. So in essence, you have the opportunity to buy these in Mint State 69. Well, you just saw the supplemental set.
Yeah.
I mean, that's gonna be, they're $99 a coin. These are $65 per coin. Folks, your opportunity here is unique. I don't believe, and I've looked, I don't believe you can find this set anywhere else at $199. I don't even know that you can find this set. Good luck finding the 2016s. There are some 2017s out there, and because of the price of the 2015s, a fair number of those are in the marketplace, but not at $69. Like I said, the 2015 Philadelphia minted coin, which is the rarest now Mint State American Silver Eagle. By the way, this Silver Eagle is the 3rd rarest, 3rd and 4th. Is $599 for that one coin in this condition. These coins are not $599, okay? These coins are not $599, they're $69. I'm basically selling you 2 of the 5 secret American Silver Eagles made by, which we just found out about, what was it, March 22nd of this year. Here's the letter from the United States Mint, March 22nd of this year. If we could, please, I need a left counter on this, okay? That's of critical importance. So you can see I've got 200, and that's it. In the past, I have sold in a single airing significantly more than that, okay? I am down to my final quantities. I've hit rock bottom on this because here's the problem. Once again, everybody's been looking for these boxes because they bring a big premium in the marketplace that match the serial numbers, the serial numbers of these secret Silver Eagles. And we have upped our price and upped our price and upped our price, and we've been willing to pay more and more and more to get these secret Philadelphia and San Francisco minted Silver Eagles. And folks, all of a sudden, those two right there, all of a sudden they have stopped showing up, period. It's not an issue of price. I've doubled my price, basically, and it still doesn't matter. So I believe we are pretty close to what exists in the marketplace is what exists. And I think that's you're going, well, that's, you know, that's very thoughtful. But understand that's a truism in this, okay? That's very important for you to understand that what exists, and because there isn't a million. I know the government made 1 million of these coins. There's not 1 million in existence. There's not 100,000 of these coins in existence, folks. These coins, functionally, there's only about 50,000 coins. That puts them on par with a 2011 United States government reverse-proof Silver Eagle, which in this condition is a $500 or $600 or $700 coin. That's what we're kind of putting this up against. That's what we're kind of looking at when it terms of rarity, collectability, and desirability. Like I said, until March 22nd of this year, the United States government didn't even want us to know that they were making these coins.
But
they did so secretly.
And you get them, and if you want them, you have to be on the phones. I'm showing 157 people ordering, and I'm showing 150 available. So we'll definitely be stamping this. It's just a matter of when. We're going to sell every single set and get them onto you. 563271.
And here's the thing that I found to be amazing. The United States government said, look, it doesn't matter what mint they're made at. They're homogeneous is what they said. And I'm here to tell you, it matters very much which mint they were made at. And folks, that's why this is going to absolutely positively sell out. I got 139 sets left right now. I got way more people than that on the phone. They could be ordering other things. Of course, they might be ordering multiples. So if you have any interest in 2 of the 5 rarest Silver Eagles ever done by the United States government at my regular issue price, I would get on the phone right now. Absolutely.
Thank you for your orders. 563271. Use that flex pay, $49.99. They're all on